Good evening, my dears, and welcome to Lady McCreepster's Night Noise. So a lot of you wanted to find out more about the Good Shade Hotel, and I must admit, I was intrigued myself. So today, we're gonna learn a little bit more about this mysterious hotel in the middle of nowhere. So come, lean in closer, and we'll begin. I'm currently working my second interval at this hotel. Every interval is 3 months, and during the time off, you have 2 weeks where you can decide to stay or to quit. I haven't really thought about quitting since back when I first started. I honestly really enjoy working here. It has really opened up my life and allowed me to witness and experience a world few will ever see. A world where we're aware of the shades. I didn't take a lot of time to think about quitting during my break. I was too excited about all the things I was learning by working here. I'm nearly at the end of my second 3 months, and something just happened that I'll definitely be keeping in mind when I have the chance to quit. A few nights ago, everything was going as normal, or at least as normal as it can get around here. I was sitting at the front desk talking to HylianFae's most recent persona, Ibarra. Beautiful as always, she was petite and 5'3". She sported olive-toned skin and highlighted deep urban hair. She smiled sweetly from behind the desk as I came back from helping a guest. "Hey, Tyler, Mr. Smith needs you to do him a favor," she told me. Her bright blue eyes widened as she waited for my reply. Sure thing. Is he in the office?" I asked. She nodded at me and seemed to be trying to hide her amusement. I guessed she knew what I had to do and found it funny, or she knew how confused I would be when I received the task. Either one would be exactly in her character. I tried to prepare myself so that Ibarra wouldn't laugh at me. If I just handled the job and got it done well enough, then she'd have no reason to chastise me when I returned. Mr. Smith did not seem impressed when I entered his office. He gestured for me to have a seat and began speaking after a sigh. "I'm sorry to have to ask you this, Mr. Stevens, but all of our other employees are tied up, and with a guest we have scheduled to arrive this evening, HylianFae must remain at the front desk." "All right," I replied hesitantly. "What do you need me to do?" "There's a delivery for the hotel that needs to be picked up. You will drive there in one of our hotel vehicles, exchange vehicles at the delivery pickup location, and return the delivery to the hotel." He stared at me as though this was the most serious matter on earth. "I can do that," I told him. "There are some requirements. You cannot look in the delivery vehicle to see what you are carrying. You are not to unlock the back of the vehicle, and please do not ask any questions about what you are collecting." I nodded, moderately concerned about what it could be that I was delivering. He told me what car to take and gave me the keys. The GPS was already set to show me the way to the pickup location. Ibarra wiggled her fingers in a goodbye as I walked by the front desk to leave. She had a knowing smile on her face, but I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of admitting that I was freaking out on the inside. The car was plain and silver, the kind of car you see absolutely everywhere. The drive towards the delivery was quiet and dark. I had nothing but time to think on the hour-and-a-half long drive. I could be picking up guests. I could be picking up raw meat or large dead animals. I could be picking up corpses. I panicked the entire way there. I had no desire to find out what the consequence would be if I were to peek at what I was delivering. Arriving at the location of the switch brought me to a small dirt road in a dark wooded area. Suffice to say, this did nothing to ease my worried mind. 2 suited men exited the U-Haul truck that was parked there. As I stood outside in the cold, one of them instructed me to drive as I would normally, so that I would not be pulled over. They got in the hotel car and left. It took me a few moments to clear my head and remind myself to ignore whatever it was I had to deliver. I steeled myself for the journey ahead as I got in the driver's seat and noticed that the GPS in the truck already had the destination set for me. This is a simple task. They've made it so easy for you. I let out a breath that I didn't realize I was holding as I started the truck and drove away. I tried to distract myself from the task at hand by listening to the radio, but no stations were coming in clearly. The voices distorted by static would somehow manage to slip their way into my already hotel-ravaged nightmares. The car was quiet, and according to the GPS, I was only about 15 minutes away from my destination. Unfortunately, that was when I started hearing noises coming from the back of the truck. Banging, muffled shouts and crying. A panicked thought crossed my mind. I'm delivering live people. I sped up. My delayed start must have messed up the schedule set for the passengers to sleep. I didn't know why they were being delivered, if they were human or shade, and I didn't want to know. I couldn't come up with any peaceful reason that I might be taking a shipment of people to the hotel. I knew that these people likely wouldn't enjoy their stays at the Good Shade. It was none of my business. I got back to the hotel at record speed, and Mr. Smith awaited me by where I was instructed to park. He asked me some follow-up questions to be sure I hadn't tampered with the delivery, then sent me on my way. I was sure Kyara could tell I was freaking out when I sat behind a desk. I couldn't stop thinking about what I'd done. Am I a criminal now? Did I just commit human trafficking? Hey, Earth to Tyler! Kyara waved a hand in front of my face. I snapped out of my panicked state. Yeah, sorry. How was the drive? She asked, with an eyebrow raised at me. It was okay, I replied vaguely, still trying to avoid her mocking me. Great, she smiled widely. An incoming guest has requested a human to bring the bedding to the room prior to arrival. I nodded, and she gave me the room key and directions. The room is U1254, and the requested bedding is located on the storage floor, U1. Take the second elevator. Don't be too long. I hoped a simple walk to place some bedding for a guest might calm me down, but Kyara had an odd look on her face when she gave me this task. She knew something I didn't know, as usual. I used the card to get down to the underground storage floor, a place I had never been previously. The floor looked just as nice as any of the ones that actually housed guests. It was clean, well lit, and looks like a regular floor overall. The one major difference to this floor was the set of doors to the left of the elevators. This led to the basement laundry room and linen storage. I grabbed a small cart to place the bedding in and loaded everything I could possibly need to make the guest's bed. As I was leaving the room, I noticed a group of people coming out of the storage elevator located at the back of the hotel. I recognized several hotel employees who seemed to be escorting these people into different rooms on the storage floor. I willed the elevator to get here faster and take me to the guest room. I didn't want to think about where those people came from. After I got back into the elevator and headed down to the guest room, things went smoothly. I got the bed made in record time, spent less than a minute on the storage floor to return the laundry cart, and made my way back to the front desk with confidence. Kiara looked exhausted. "You okay?" I asked her. She sighed. "High maintenance guest tonight. We'll probably be giving a lot of requested room service tonight." I wasn't concerned about it at that point. It wasn't the first time a guest had requested a human to deliver their room service since I'd been working here. Requested service meant great tips for escorting a person, food, or items to a guest. It wouldn't be so bad. The night was fairly uneventful until we began receiving room service requests. Kiara had to provide escort for me to the room each time. It was hotel regulation. There were a few simple requests for drinks and such, but every so often there would be a request to bring up a friend. Each time the guest requested a friend, Kiara made a call and another employee would escort in a person. We would then take the person to the guest. This happened 3 or 4 times during the shift, and I became concerned when none of the people returned from the room. I couldn't imagine what this guest might want so many people for. The worst part was I recognized those people as part of the group I had seen entering the hotel through the service elevator. The delivery was eating me up inside, and before the shift ended, I had to ask. Kiara and I were sitting at the front desk waiting for another request. "Did I deliver people to be eaten by guests?" I blurted out into the otherwise quiet lobby. "What?" Alice laughed. "Obviously, you're aware that you did deliver people, but not specifically to be eaten." I stared at her. She was acting as if this should be obvious to me. She rolled her eyes. "They either owe something or have done something and are being brought in for the hotel to take care of, or they were requested by a guest to be delivered for whatever purpose they wish." I had no idea how to respond to that. How does the hotel take care of the people who have done it wrong? Also, whatever purpose does not rule out people being eaten. The rest of the shift kind of went by in a blur. I was exhausted from the continuous nightmares that working here afforded me. The stressful shift did nothing but add to my exhaustion, and I went through the last bit of it on autopilot. It's almost time for me to go to tonight's shift. I remember Kiara saying one thing while I was zoned out. One thing that stuck with me. One thing that might always remain true. "You've been here for what feels like so long now, yet you still hardly know anything about the good shade." This place just gets more and more intriguing the more you learn about it. Now, if you haven't done so already, my dears, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you liked this story, click that thumbs up sign and leave me a comment. If you'd like to follow me on social media, go to facebook.com/LadyMcCreepster. All the links are in the description. Well, that's all I have for you this evening, my dears. But remember, come back and visit me soon.